What I want to show you today is something called a ping pong ball cannon. A ping pong ball cannon is essentially an 8-foot piece of PVC tubing with a T-fitting attached to it so that we can hook it up to a vacuum pump. Inside the tube at the T is a ping pong ball. The far end of the tube is covered with a piece of 3-inch packing tape. And then just to make sure that the tape doesn't come off, we're going to put a PVC collar on the end. The back end is covered with a little bit of Mylar, and then it's wrapped in packing tape. And again, we're going to put a collar on it to keep it in place. To fire the ping pong ball cannon, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on a vacuum pump, suck all the air out of the ping pong ball cannon, and then take a razor knife and puncture the piece of Mylar that's over the back end of the cannon. When I do this, what do you think is going to happen? That's right. When we puncture the Mylar, air is going to come rushing into the PVC tube, and it will be at atmospheric pressure, so that's about 15 pounds per square inch. And it's going to hit the ping pong ball, pushing the ping pong ball through the PVC tube. But remember, we've sucked the air out of the PVC tube, which means the ping pong ball is going to encounter very little air resistance, okay? Which means that it's going to accelerate up to speeds of close to the speed of sound. And it's going to come ripping through the piece of packing tape that I put on the other end. To make things a little bit more interesting, we're going to place a empty can right at the end of the PVC tubing, and we're going to see if we can blast a hole through this can. So if you notice, right now we're at 1 atmosphere. I'm going to go ahead and turn on the vacuum pump, and we'll watch the pressure inside the tube go down. Okay, so I think we're ready. If you notice, the Mylar is being sucked into the tube, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my razor knife and I'm going to puncture the piece of Mylar, and we're going to see what happens to the can. Three, 2, 1. As you can see, in this attempt, the ball didn't quite make it all the way through the can because it looks like the can kind of got pulled out of the holder. But as you can see on a previous attempt, you can get the ping pong ball to pass all the way through the can. And surprisingly, the ping pong ball somewhat survives the journey. The reason I use Mylar instead of packing tape down at this end of the tube is that if I use packing tape, a small part of the tape is actually going to break off and fly down the tube. Sometimes it'll get stuck in the tube, which makes it very difficult to remove.